David and Absalom. Absalom is someone that he was craving for power. He had all these leadership traits, which I guess he inherited from his, but he decided to use those skills. So I guess I should have used that example when we're talking about serving under someone. He decided to use those skills for his own. He became ambitious. So it's sort of, that's one of the tale, when you're a leader and you're governing someone that is gifted. He decided to use those skills. He was craving for power so much that he wanted to usurp his father's authority. He started creating comparison between his father's leadership styles versus him. His father was a king. He was not easily accessible. So on that part, that was like something else. But the good nature of it all was for God himself, the redemption part, that despite everything, God still chose him. Like we said, God doesn't use perfect people. He qualifies the unqualified. And God still made him to be a high priest, like what the Bible said, I think in Hebrews, that the high priest, that he knows his own flaws. So it teaches him patience, because obedience to God is taught. You don't become obedient. It's by what you've gone through that will teach you and force you to become that. So you now become patient, because you cannot even say, oh, you're whatever, because it will always be a memory of what you're capable of. So that brokenness, so God sometimes will allow that bad to happen, so that it teaches you to now realize submission. You now realize that you're not on your own, you're not capable. So it's, I don't know if it answers your question, but so the good, so for me, that, on that part, it was like a huge lesson learned on how he went through the bad past and all that, and despite everything, God still chose him.
You are right. From what you said, I actually learned something. What I learned when you were talking was about some people who are very eager to lead. And God intentionally placed them to that supporting role they are playing, because God sees more than human. He knows that this person might or will definitely put on this character when you get to that leadership role. So I think God will take his time to build them to that level, that there are so many pressures attached to being a leader. But people think it is maybe doing the work, just doing the work alone. Some people remain as a leader just the way they can handle pressure, not because they actually know they are perfect about what they are doing. They might not really perfect, but other things that are attached to it, just like Moses, he can handle them, he can whatever, even though their character might push him to do what he's supposed to do, but at least he still stood his ground to some point. But at that point, when the opportunity opened for Aaron to be the leader, he fumbled.
What you said is very interesting, that God might sometimes place the person that is leader. You look at the person seemingly might not have the whole intelligence, technical skill of doing that. But God is putting the person there for a reason. And actually, I think it just, on both sides, whoever is the leader, if he's self-sufficient in himself, recognizing himself, like every Moses needs an Aaron.
Exactly.
And actually, when you think about it, the Aaron actually does much more work than the Moses himself. Because, like what you said, you're in the head and all that. That is not because you're the most perfect. It's not because you know everything. There maybe because God has seen, because of your type, spiritual makeup, at the highest boiling point, you might be the last person to crack. But the technical know-how might not be you. So your job is to coordinate everybody and all that, to have a sane mind when the pressure is there. So the main job actually is Aaron. After all, Moses was just raising his hand. Aaron and Hur we are supporting him.
Yeah.
So if Moses' hand is paining him, Aaron is holding him. So when Aaron's hand is paining him, who is holding Aaron?
Oh, exactly.
you see, so it is God that will not have to hold Aaron. If not, nobody is supporting Aaron. But Moses, you have people supporting you. But who is supporting the Aaron?
Exactly.
Her. Who is her?
Exactly.
Is that nobody knows her?
So now, at this section now, we are on, I think, faith and spiritual growth. Still linked to this particular book and the story we are discussing about today. So how do we remain faithful when our assignment feels overshadowed by someone else?
It's I just remembered Martha and Mary. When you feel that this person is like, Mary was sort of before God, having greater access to Jesus, literally listening to Jesus, while Martha was in the background doing a good work, doing the relevant thing. But it's as if the attention was more on Mary than her until she had to complain. Or when it feels as if your own job doesn't seemingly seem, you're being overshadowed by someone else. So how to maintain, your question was how to maintain your faith.
Yes, how to remain faithful when our assignment feels overshadowed by someone else.
I think it's just sort of understanding. I always go back to understanding who you are, because identity is the most important thing. Because after all, Moses was a slave, Moses was a prince, Aaron was a slave, and yet Moses could not do what Aaron could do. So remaining faithful even when it seems as if someone else is overshadowing you it is only the grace of God. It's only knowing your identity in Christ that helps you understand times and seasons, that helps you understand progress, that helps you understand that at this particular season, it's for a purpose. It's for a purpose. Now, someone's timeline might be, the person has, by the nature of the person's calling, this is the particular reason why God will allow the person to, a bungalow house, the foundation for a bungalow house is different from the foundation of a skyscraper. But at the onset, it will look as if the bungalow finished on time and is successful and is out there, while the person building a skyscraper keeps on digging and digging, and you're like, when is the foundation going to be built? Talk more of anything showing, right? So it's sort of knowing who you are, knowing yourself, tending to your own garden, having an altar with God, tending with your own garden and facing your altar, facing your calling, and knowing, Jesus, what God told you're to become in the long run, and not being distracted. Because it's sort of it's just your heart posture. If your heart posture is wrong, and the motive for which you're doing what you're doing is for something just not beyond yourself but within yourself, that's when that force that is greater than you, that will compel you, which is the Holy Spirit, that's when you cannot be contained and you want to be seen, you want to go out before time. You feel that this person has gone ahead of me. Why is this person the appointed person? Why is it this person that pastor gave recognition? Why is it this person that is so to handle this branch? Why not me? And then forgetting that there is a reason there's a time and season happens to everybody. When it's your time and season, then you'll be called. God chooses people based on, is sort of being subject to God, understanding how God works, understanding that you don't become who you are just because you choose to be that. It's because you're chosen by God. You're called to this ministry, but among the people called, God chose this person.
And I think you mentioned we need to understand our calling. So I don't know if you understand football to some extent. There are some people who defend, there are midfielders, supporting strikers, and the main striker. Almost everyone aside the main striker, all their works is to feed the main striker so that he can score for them.
Yeah.
And these people's role cannot be like, the main striker cannot do anything on its own without the effort of every other player on the field.
Exactly.
So, and I think we need to understand our role.
Yeah.
I'm called to serve, and even providing support for a leader or for someone is even a ministry on its own.
Yeah.
I think people need to understand that.
Yeah, the Aaronic ministry is actually the Aaronic ministry.
Yeah.
The Aaronic ministry is somehow a ministry that is not that, just like you see what happened to Aaron. Aaron, when Moses was not around, Aaron was wishing to step into the shadow, to step into that role. But because he's not called to it, even the people that you're trying to, they will never see you beyond who you really are. So, like, everything they asked him to do was tilting towards what a priest should do. They asked him to give them a calf for them to worship. So, and everything they were doing, like, they didn't see him as a leader, no matter how hard he tried, because he's not called to be that. So it is him, it's just the devil. It's him not knowing his identity. Identity is everything. Once you know who you are, you understand what the reason why you were born into this world, like bringing it contemporary to ourselves. The day you discover fully who you are and what God, the reason why you were born, oh my God, that's like the greatest joy, and that's the greatest gift anybody can ever have. If the day you discover who you are. So because of that, when you see someone that, maybe you're called to be a humanitarian, for example, God has short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals, and all that. So when you understand what God is trying, who you're supposed to be, and in the meantime you're called to be this, mid-term you're supposed to be this, long-term you're supposed to be this, you'll be so focused on that you will not really, you will not really be interested in everything else, because the one you're supposed to do, you're trying to perceive how am I going to execute this project. I don't want to leave this world without really doing so you'll be so preoccupied with that you'll not even notice anybody else. You get what I mean? So his identity is everything. Identity and knowledge, like once you know your calling, the reason why you were born, it settles everything. Everything will start fitting.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you. So on to the next question. On this section, we are dealing with failure and restoration. So what can we learn from Aaron's involvement in the golden calf incident? Yeah,
I mean, God is merciful. For me, what I learned is about divine providence and mercy. Because like I told you, like we joked about that, while God was designing his priestly garments, he was busy downstairs dancing and bowing down to an idol. Meanwhile, he's supposed to be an intercessor. He's supposed to be a priest interceding between man and God and everything. So it's sort of the golden calf incident. It sort of makes me realize, first of all, that if you're not careful, for example, how easy it is for you to switch. Now he's called, like, I just want to go into something about him being a priest, that he was called to be a priest. That was ultimate calling, because that's what God had in mind. But already that trait of being a priest, that talent, that calling, that gifting was already being used to service negativity, was already being used to service the devil. Even before you had the chance to even start doing what God did. So you see people that they have the calling to be evangelists. I think I heard a pastor say it. I think Apostle Selman or so. You have the calling. No, I don't know. I've forgotten who said it. They have the calling to be evangelists, but you see them being able to persuade people, singing, secular evil music, and they're able to call in crowds of people. You see millions of people paying money to watch this musician dancing. That influence, that level of influence he has, it's actually the gift of evangelism, the gift of persuasion